If you need to do some maintenance to the rear brakes on your 1991 to 2000 TJ or YJ Wrangler, this PowerStop OE replacement rear brake drum and pad kit will be one to check out. Now this will be a direct fit replacement to your factory rear drum brakes that will up your braking power if you've noticed that your performance is a bit lacking and it's time for a new set. This will make it a great choice for the TJ or YJ owner who just needs to do some maintenance on the rear, wants a complete kit, and isn't necessarily in need of a high performance option if you're just daily driving or light off-roading. This kit will come with everything that you need, including the brake pads, the drums, all of the springs, clips, pins, and hardware that you need in order to make the swap. Now, all of these components that you see here combined will bring reliable OE-style performance to the table, while also producing low dust levels and little to no noise for a very comfortable experience when driving your Jeep. Getting into the construction, the brake pads or shoes will have a semi-metallic brake pad compound that will remain durable, yet again, be very comfortable for everyday applications. This will also feature heavy-duty cast iron drums that will hold up to high temps and resist any warping or cracking over time. They'll also have a silver zinc dichromate plating on top to enhance rust resistance, again, extending that lifespan. Now the hardware included will have a stainless steel construction, which will resist any rusting or corrosion over time, keeping your brakes functioning like brand new. Getting into price, as you can imagine, this will be more on the affordable side, being an OE replacement at roughly $225. Now what I like about this option is the fact that it comes separate from the front in comparison to other choices on the page that will offer an entire kit. Now that will allow you some flexibility in choosing what you'd like to pair this with or let you complete maintenance at your own pace. These again will also be a factory style option, keeping it simple and to the point yet still effective, as to where others may offer a bit more performance if you're really working the brakes hard and need that extra longevity in a high performance kit. However, again, if you're daily driving your TJ or YJ, you're not pushing it to its limits, you just need to do a bit of maintenance to the rear end, then this is the kit to choose. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, which is to be expected and should take you about 2 hours to get the job done with the correct hand tools and the correct setup. Now, speaking of the install, one of our customers here has actually installed this on their Jeep and is going to walk you through what this process looks like, how to get all of this hardware and the brakes onto your TJ or your YJ at home right now.
All right, today we're replacing rear drum brakes on a 99 Jeep Wrangler. I bought a kit from extremeterrain.com. Comes with everything but the wheel cylinder. You have to buy that separately. Comes with the rotor, all your hardware. These are the tools you're gonna need. You don't need these tools, but they do help. 3/8 socket, 3/8 wrench, wire brush, flathead, needle nose. I'm gonna knock it out. All right, the first thing you do is take the wheel off, which I already done with a 19mm socket. Impact will help tremendously. That's what it looks like. This plate just freely sits on here. Set that to the side. Won't need it anymore. First thing you want to do is take pictures of every angle so you know how it goes back. All right, we're gonna start by taking these top springs off. Then work to these push springs. And then both brake pads will drop out with the adjuster attached, and we'll leave that to the side so we can leave it as a reference. This bar in here will fall out once the top opens up. Then we'll take this out. There's 2 bolts on the back with the brake line attached. All right, just gonna take a flathead, wedge it in here. Do the same thing to the side. Use needle nose for the push springs. You just stick in there, grab the tab, and turn it. It pops out. rod comes out the back. That's how it goes in. Turn it 90 degrees. That's how we're gonna put it back in, the new one. Doing the other side. It's out. Everything's loose now. Just gotta pop this. The brake cable off the top. This was behind the springs. We're replacing all that, but we're reusing this. This is the first thing that goes on. Take it. Comes out. We're gonna leave this part together. Adjuster, so we can reference it. So this pops out. This is trash. We're gonna reuse this. There's notches on here. I'll tell you, this is the side that goes on the spring. And it has to go back the same way it was in. Now we're taking the wheel cylinder off. 2 bolts on the back, 3/8 socket. Actually, I'm gonna take the brake cable off, which is a 3/8 wrench. Screws into the back of it. Now it's out. We just adjust it, set it up there for now. Bolts out. We're gonna reuse the bolt. Pops out. There's only one way to go in. This is gonna be brake release. Your bleeder valve. It always goes on top. Now we're gonna clean the backing plate and grease it. This bracket sits behind the brake pad. This notch goes inside the brake pad. Right there. It has to go in there for it to fit right. This goes to your parking cable. Alright, now we're gonna clean it up. Alright, so we cleaned up the backing plate. Basically just sprayed it down with brake cleaner and rubbed it with the wire brush just to get some of the brake dust and rust off. We're gonna start putting the cylinder on first. Pop it through. It only goes one way. So. Tight. I'm just trying to put the brake cable back on. What is that? brake hose. Take a needle nose, try to push it up there, turn it. Two bolts in, brake hose. Alright, we're gonna start putting together the brake pads using my reference. We're gonna start with the bottom spring. There's two bigger holes at the bottom. Spring, so they go under and hook on both sides. And the little adjuster. And two pieces. This piece just pops in. The other side is threaded. That's how you're gonna adjust it. You put it exactly like how it is. Threaded side to the inside. Adjust it out because we already know we're gonna have to adjust it. There's two teeth on the inside. That's where they go. Now we're gonna put the spring on. So we're gonna sit. We're gonna put this on here. That's what holds the bracket on the clip. We're gonna go ahead and set the clip on. There's a bigger hole, a smaller hole. The bigger hole is to put it on, and then it's gonna sit in the smaller hole. This spring is gonna go on top and goes on one way. So this little elbow can go over the top of this as it sits on here. Actually, I have it wrong. Spring goes on first. This goes on over. Next step's put it on here. Before we do that, we're gonna grease our spots that are gonna rub. Grease comes in the pack kit. There's 6 spots. One at the top, middle, and bottom. You'll be able to tell because they're usually a little smoother than the rest. I'm also gonna put spring up here. There's a lot of moving parts. Grease on this. Make sure you get plenty of grease. Remember, this bracket, the parking cable sits up here behind the brake pad and it goes in a notch. Only goes in one way. Alright, so before we put any springs, put this plate back on, remember, it's all goes in. There's a skinnier part on the spring, goes on, and that notch points down. There's a notch on this side, that's also on that parking cable bracket. That end goes in there. This thing goes in there. So that's it. Now it's gonna be a little loose until we put all our springs on. Next, we're gonna put our split springs. This little piece goes on top. Got a rod that goes through the back. This is the tricky part. This tool is for this, even though it's still kind of complicated. I try to keep it straight up and down so I can see it through the hole. I'm gonna push it on here. Kind of come over here. Hold the back, push at the same time. Once you get it in, turn it 90 degrees. That's how it looks when it's in. We'll straighten all up once we have everything together. Fix this so we can get ready to put our top spring. Note before we do this, this bracket sits in the hole that this back hook goes through. So when we hook it up, the brake cable is going to hook up here, go around this, and hook to our adjuster lever down there. It only go one way. So piece sits just like this. The wings on top goes on first. Then we're gonna set this to the side. Important, make sure this lever is in here, the spring is compressed. So these springs are the same, doesn't matter which side these go on, but it does matter which order. So the side without the bracket, this side is gonna go on first. And it's gonna hook through in this and over the hook. This one's gonna go back in the plate and under it. Very important that the hook side is facing this way. So it has to go on. Alright, we got our cable back over where it's supposed to be. Put it back on. This hook over this brake. You simply just push it up. What? Get everything back together. I'm just gonna hit the brake pads, brake cleaner. We just want the brake pads adjust. Way too tight, so I'm gonna bring it back. Just want it barely rubbing. You can hear it rubbing. Alright.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of this PowerStop OE replacement rear brake drum and pad kit fitting all 1991 to 2000 TJ and YJ Wranglers. And remember, for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.